She dropped her 6-year-old off at school and never came home. What happened on a quiet Minneapolis street that morning? And how did a routine ICE operation turn deadly in just seconds? Stay with me, because this story only gets more disturbing from here. Just days after federal immigration raids flooded Minneapolis, 37-year-old Renee Nicole Good did what so many parents do every single morning. She hugged her child, watched him walk into school, and climbed back into the SUV with her wife, Becca. Renee was a mom of 3, a wife, a neighbor people knew by name, and that ordinary morning was about to collide with something much bigger. As they drove, Becca suggested taking a detour. Word was spreading fast. ICE agents were everywhere, armed, masked. Neighbors were gathering, blowing whistles, trying to show support for families terrified by the raids. Renee agreed to stop. According to Becca later, they weren't looking for trouble. "We had whistles," she said. "They had guns." On Portland Avenue, things escalated fast. Surveillance video shows Renee's SUV partially blocking a one-way residential street. Snow piled along the sidewalks. Protest sounds fill the air, horns, whistles, shouting. Federal agents move in. Renee is behind the wheel. Becca is nearby. Their dog is in the back seat. At one point, Renee calmly tells the agents, "I'm not mad at you," but the tension doesn't ease. An officer yells at her to get out of the car. He reaches for the door, and then Renee starts to reverse. That's when everything explodes. Another officer steps in front of the vehicle. Federal authorities later claim Renee was trying to run them over. Witnesses say she was trying to leave. In that split second, an ICE agent named Jonathan Ross pulls his gun. 3 shots. "I heard 3 pops," one witness said. And then people started screaming, "You killed her!" Renee's SUV lunges forward, slamming into 2 parked cars. She's been shot through the windshield, blood everywhere. Becca, her wife, is left screaming, covered in her partner's blood, begging for a towel on a neighbor's steps before collapsing in grief. And here's where the story takes a sharp turn. Almost immediately, 2 completely different versions of events hit the public. President Trump and federal officials say the shooting was self-defense. Homeland Security leaders go even further, calling Renee a domestic terrorist. But state and local leaders aren't buying it. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz calls the federal narrative propaganda, saying this is what happens when reckless governance meets real people. Surveillance footage shows chaos, not a calculated attack. Renee never left her vehicle before the shots were fired. And then there's this detail that stopped people cold. After the shooting, witnesses say the agent who fired the shots called Renee a F-ing bitch, told colleagues to call 911, and then walked away. No immediate arrest. No clear answers. The agent was later taken to a hospital for internal injuries, but officials refused to say how those injuries happened. As news spread, Minneapolis erupted. Just a mile from where George Floyd was murdered years earlier, thousands poured into the street. Candles flickered in the cold. Chants echoed off brick walls. Say her name. Renee Good. No justice. No peace. This part changes everything because this wasn't just a protest. It became a living memorial. Flowers piled up where her SUV stopped. Signs reading "Remember" and "Renee Good" filled the block. People prayed. Some cried quietly. Others screamed into megaphones, furious and exhausted. Neighbors handed out free coffee. A man poured milk on the pavement and scattered pomegranate seeds as a symbol of life and loss. And through it all, people refused to let Renee be reduced to a headline. She was vibrant, one neighbor said. Warm, sweet, the kind of person you remember. As night fell, the mood shifted. Anger boiled over. Police tape lined the street. One man was arrested after throwing a frozen bottle, shattering candles at the vigil. The grief was raw, unfiltered, still bleeding. Witnesses described the scene right after the shooting as gruesome. The bullet hole, the panic, people chasing officers out of the block once barricades were lifted. And yet, just around the corner, Becca Good was facing a future she never asked for, raising their son alone. explaining why one parent isn't coming back, holding on to Renee's belief that there are still people trying to build a better world. This case is still unfolding. Investigations continue, protests haven't stopped, and the questions remain heavy. Was this really self-defense, or another life lost in the chaos of aggressive enforcement? How many more times will history repeat itself before something changes? If the story shook you, you're not alone. Drop your thoughts in the comments.